So keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So your right palm on your left, and gently close your eyes, please. And bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you focusing to the sound, you can mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. Do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So bring attention to your body, please. Observe head to toes yourself and recite mentally, Shupatveva, or may I be well and happy, 3 times. So take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment, with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment. This is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment. Right now, right here, observing the bodily sensation, following my guidance. So in the beginning, bring your attention to your whole body and feel your whole body as one. See your posture, the pressure, the weight. How you feel your body. Bring fully attention. You be with the body and observe the body. Attentive observation. So when you recognize the body or the posture, see yourself, are you recognize it by thoughts or by feeling? How you knew, how you know your body? You have a mental image, or are you really seeing it? Is there any strong, major bodily sensation, tightness, heaviness? If so, just get a mental note. And find a different place. And is there any strong sensation? Just observe it and see how you recognize it. By thinking or by really seeing it. Don't use your thoughts to recognize any sensation. Just use rough physical feelings to recognize it. And find a different place. Observe head to toes and see is there any strong sensation. Find a physical sensation. Like you watching sunset, sunrise, you watching the ocean. Observe that sensation without interfering or disturbing to it. Keep your fully attention to observe the sensation or the feelings. Bring attention to in front of your nose and your upper lip area. Keep observe and see if there any sensation arise, followed by the inhalation or exhalation. See thoroughly, observe deeply. When the inhalation, exhalation happens, what happens to your body and what happens to your mind? When the inhalation, exhalation happens, there is something happening to your body and mind as a result of your inhalation, exhalation. So you have to observe and find it. Look deeply, thoroughly. You are responsible for your attention. So look yourself. Bring your attention to your body and observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe, and may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart forward to your backside, to your left side, and to your right side. Downward and upward. To all six directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings get out of the greed, hatred, and the delusion and be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, we are in a time period like revolution happens with the machines technology, with this artificial intelligence and the informations. And day by day, as human beings, we are slowly detached from the reality. And our imagination become bigger and our dreams go higher. And disappointment becomes stronger. Sadness, worry, unhappiness, fear, and day by day, and strengthening. So then we have some responsibility as human beings. That is having a spiritual revolution, having a spiritual development. It is very necessary, because otherwise all other things going to overtake this human life. That it is created in our mind. But the thing is, it has power. Your thought has power to sabotage itself. That's why anxiety, depression, sadness, worry, fear, these things come. It is not come from outside. It is itself create inside us. It is another part of mind. But still, if we don't develop the clarity within ourselves, what will happen? Out of your disturbances, that always you're going to share the greed, hatred, and the delusion. So then the spiritual development is very necessary. That's why you practice, you realize, and after you realize, you share it. That is what all this 2,600 years happened with this Buddha's dispensation. You practice and realize and you share. And as then yourself, if you practice properly and realize yourself, and then you have opportunity to share it. If you don't do that, always remember that whoever gained the greed, hatred, or the delusion, the fear or the anxiety or the depression, sadness, worry, disappointment, they're going to share it with others. So then you have to strengthen your part. And when it comes to that, what you have to realize, how you have to practice and what you have to realize. So that's why we practice this meditation. So when it comes to the meditation, it is not a kind of like a mental imagination. It is not a kind of like a create by mind or thoughts. It is not kind of like you get into a dream state. It is not a kind of like you get into a kind of like a cuckoo, mental cuckoo experience. You come to realize in this very moment the natural process of life. For that, there is a method. What is that method? You come, you recognize, you develop the connection to your breathing. And then you find the balance and the center with your body. And then you develop undisturbed mind. This is a very basically what is we practice. You bring the connection to your body, your breathing, and you find the balance with the body. And then you settle down there and develop undisturbed mind. Because once you can get connected to the breathing and find the balance with the body naturally, you get into tranquility state. And as a result of that, you're going to have undisturbed mind. That is the foundation. So from there, you observe your own body. And as we practice today, you observe your bodily feelings, the posture, you can observe the breathing, condition of the mind. And as you know, there are 4 foundations when it comes to the Vipassana level. So when you go with the feelings happen right now, right here. And not related to past, not something related to future. And according to the necessary conditions in this very moment, you can recognize the feelings. So before the Buddha, also people used to observe the feelings. And with their 6 senses, mainly 5 senses, with their eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and they used to have a very ascetic way of life and stay away from all the perception and detach from this physical world. And then they thought they can get out of these feelings. And they thought that is a great way to practice meditation. But the Buddha's teaching totally different than that. It's nothing to do with the world. And when you perceive the perception, in that very moment, you recognize how you feel. That recognition itself develops your tranquility state. Rather than rather than resisting or go with the feelings, you observe what you feel. So it is 2 different ways. And there were many other practice and stay away from feeling or the perception. Seeing things, hearing things, smelling things, eating things, feeling. Stay away from that. And the Buddha didn't accept that. But what the Buddha said, a totally different method. When you see something, when you hear something, smell something, feel something, taste something, there is something happening to your body as a result of that perception. So rather than dealing with the outside perception, outside objects, you have to bring the awareness to your own bodily feelings. So when it comes to feelings, you can have only 3 kinds of feelings. There is nothing beyond these 3 in this conventional life. When you see something, when you hear something, smell, taste, feel, you can have good feeling or bad feeling or neutral feelings. Only 3 feelings. So when you deeply observe, if it is a good feeling, you recognize this is a good feeling. And if it is an unpleasant feeling, you recognize it is an unpleasant feeling. And if it is a neutral feeling, you recognize it is a neutral feeling. But still the process happening that the neutral feeling has a power to become pleasant or unpleasant. So like in the vehicle, in the gearbox, you know that there is a neutral point. So that neutral point doesn't mean it completely shut down the system. At any moment, it can give the activation to the system. So then there are feelings in us. When the perception happens, you feel neutral, but that doesn't mean there is no any connection towards the greed, hatred, or the delusion, or there is nothing related to good or bad. No, it has a power to bring it as a good or bad. So 3 kinds of feelings: pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. The neutral feeling is not equanimity. Mostly what we think, oh, if it is a neutral feeling, let it be. But in the Buddha's teaching, It doesn't allow to be there like that way. That also you have to see and recognize. So then mostly in your life, so whatever happens, if it is a good, maybe you have power to recognize. If it is bad, maybe you have power to recognize. But mostly you neglect the neutral feelings. Why you neglect the neutral feelings? Even sometimes you don't see it. Because your awareness is not sharp or maybe lazy. Another thing is you have no ability to see it. Why? Because you didn't develop the strength. And then you allow that things to be there. But what will happen when suddenly something pop up, and then that the feelings start to overtake, that neutral feelings start to transform to something. So 3 kind of feelings. Then these 3 kind of feelings, again, when you deeply observe, there are it go to another category, 2 categories, bodily feelings and mentally feelings. So that's why we practice, when you observe the body, you have to see it as a bodily feeling. So when you observe thoroughly, deeply, you can recognize. Otherwise, sometimes it is mostly that the mentally, you may gain that feeling, and then, but it is happening in mind, but you think it is in body. So 3 kind of feelings: good feelings, bad feelings, neutral. Another way, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral feelings. And then the pleasant feelings, bodily pleasant feeling and mentally pleasant feeling. Bodily good feeling, mentally good feeling. So physically, that what you feel. Maybe it is good, and maybe physically it is unpleasant. Bodily agreeable feeling and bodily disagreeable feelings. The bodily pleasant feeling, bodily unpleasant feeling. So this is what you have to observe and recognize. If you deeply observe, you will see. You don't need to do anything. Just observe and see it. And then when you develop that, then you recognize another part. That part is mental feelings. So as example, so whatever happened in the past and whatever may be going to happen in the future, and you reminding it, and by reminding it, you gain a mental feeling. So that mental pleasant feeling and mental unpleasant feeling. Then I'm going to show you a magic. This is the magic happening. When just whatever happened in the past, if you remind it, and in that very moment when you have a mental feeling, in that very moment what happens, the bodily feeling shut down. So whatever going to happen in the future, if you reminding, and then you gain the mental feeling. There are 2 kinds of mental feelings: mentally agreeable feeling, mentally disagreeable feeling, desire and resistance. And another way, you feel good and you feel bad, mental feelings. So this is what I mean. When you think about something, good or bad, whatever that tomorrow going to, in that very moment, when you come to a mental feeling, in that very moment, You disconnect from the physical feelings. There is no way physical and mental, both the active feelings going to be there. So then in your life, mostly in our conventional life, mostly as feelings, we gain mental feelings. Why? Because our mind mostly depend from past and the future. So sometimes when the physical strong feelings arise, you may feel that. But right away when you feel it, mostly what is happening, you bring the mental feelings to top of that your physical feelings. That's mean the memory you put into that, the feelings. Once you put the memory on the top of the physical feelings, anymore it is not a physical feeling, it's become a mental feeling. So whatever the depression, anxiety, the fear, the unhappiness, the worry, sadness, mostly happening because of your mental feelings. So then when you develop the method to observe the feelings, what happened? You clearly going to recognize your physical feelings. So when you recognize that physical feelings, in that very moment, what happens? Your mental feeling disconnect. That's mean your mind disconnect from the past and the future reflection. And then the physical feelings happening right now, right here. So then your mind come to the present moment. And then once you recognize that, if you see it is a good feeling or the pleasant feeling or the unpleasant feeling or the neutral feeling, that recognition itself is what we call the awareness. So again and again, when you observe thoroughly, deeply, not partially, not kind of like a superficial way, it's completely, when you develop the attentive awareness, so whatever the physical feelings that you have, or the mental feelings that whatever you have, you can see something with that feelings. That feelings, that one is you going to recognize on in that feelings, maybe it is happen because of many reasons. So then you're going to see the reason. When you see the reason, the pain disappears. Anymore, it's not going to become a pain. So otherwise, what happens? So when there is a pain come, maybe you trying to react to the pain, then you're not going to see the reason. Then you take the pain as a kind of like a condition or kind of like a permanent. So then there always the struggle going to be. That is where we always the resisting. But there is something in you. When you have a pain, any sensation, so if you deeply observe, you will recognize there are reasons for that pain. When you see the reasons, the pain disappears. Even it is there anymore, it's not going to be kind of like the pain. Another thing is that you're going to recognize how rough this pain, how strong this pain, the volume, the strength of the pain, you're going to recognize. When you see that also, the pain disappears. When there is a strong pain, when you see the roughness, the volume, the strength of the pain disappears, then you recognize something else. Another thing is the pain is conditioned. Pain happening because of many reasons in that very moment. So when you see that cause and conditions, that way also the pain disappears. So then when you have any sensation, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral feelings, so if you see that in that recognition, what happens, rather than reacting to pleasant, unpleasant, neutral feelings, your mind going to recognize something related to that feelings. It doesn't matter pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. So when you go into that recognition, or maybe it happened many reasons, and the volume, the strength, roughness, or the softness, or the cause and conditions, when you see that thing, that the pleasantness, unpleasantness, and the neutralness going to disappear from that feeling. So it's kind of like you filtering and you go beyond the surface level. On the surface level, you feel pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. But when you see the pain, you go beyond that. That is what you need. Because we all in the surface level dealing and fighting and resisting and go with this feeling. But when it comes to the vipassana level of practice, whatever the pleasant, unpleasant, neutral feeling, recognize it. Recognize it thoroughly. Don't afraid to observe that. Go into the middle of it. Don't observe it partially. Completely, thoroughly, with the great care yourself, observe any sensation. And another way, bring the attentive awareness, be with it and see it. And when you see that, you know yourself, you seeing the pain, you seeing the sensation, you recognize that seeing, bring the recognition, this is a neutral, this is pleasant, this is unpleasant. So in that seeing, in that recognition, your mind detached from reacting to the sensation. It is a mental state. So you react on the surface level. But if you go to the depth, the mind doesn't react to the pleasant, unpleasant, neutral feelings. Why? The mind recognizes the source of the behavior or the character of the feelings. That recognition itself take out the very rough level of character of the feelings. That means the pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Once the mind get out of that character, you experience something, but at the same time, there is no reaction. So in that level, it's a kind of like that it is a indifferentness, that there is no different in that feelings. When you come to that, it is called equanimity. So it's like you go above this level of the place you're sitting, and you go above. And when you go on a certain level, you go beyond this orbit And in that certain level, what will happen? You're going to see the sun without day and night. When you go to the higher in this sky and go above this little by little, in a certain level, you can see the sun without experiencing day and night. But now in this level, we experience the sun with the day and night. So your mind has power now in the surface level. In conventional life, that experiencing feeling is kind of like this we experience in day and night. We always have difference. So there is no that we cannot understand. Without night, we cannot understand the day. The same like without that unpleasant, we cannot understand what is pleasant. And because of that, we always in a journey to react, go with something, go with something, go with something. But there is a level in your mind you can reach. If you come to a point, settle down with the breathing and finding the balance with your body and developing undisturbed mind, and slowly start to observe without reacting to any feelings or the sensation. When you keep observe little by little, you're going to recognize the behavior or the character of the sensation. And once you recognize that, you're not going to compare or you don't see the difference in that feelings. In that level, you come to a point, anymore it is not a feeling. So in a conventional level, that sometimes it is a puzzle for us. So what we see, what we experience, now in conventional life, we accept it as feelings. But it is happened because in the surface level, rough level, in a very conventional level, with the memory, in this physical, we're going to experience it. But when you go deeper, detach from that, when you go deeper, that right now, right here, what is happening with you is nothing to do with pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. So your mind has capacity to go there. So rather than playing and dealing and enjoying with this pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, and find a way to go beyond that. Because dealing with this pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, there's no end. It always going to be something. Always, it always inviting and pushing us towards something. But if you reach to the level of equanimity, that if you find the foundation with indifference feelings, that means that the equanimity, that there is no identity for that. You just experience the moment and you see the behavior of the what you experience. In that level, out of your bodily, verbally, or mentally action, there is no reaction going to come related to greed, hatred, or the delusion. That is how you can slowly, little by little, reduce your sanskara or the mental formations. And that is where you can reduce your karmic reactions in a certain level, if you go with that method little by little, there is a point you can reach. Even the perception happen. And deeply you recognize, thoroughly you recognize what is happening in you, and you're not going to take it as a pleasant, unpleasant, or some neutral feelings. And you deeply going to the bottom of that feelings, and you stay with the equanimity in that level, out of your bodily, verbally, or mentally action, that it always going to come the exactly the right action, that as a reaction. So in that very level, there is no any result going to come to you. It is become kind of like a one-way journey. There's no result out of, there's no karmic result out of your bodily, verbally, mentally action. That karmic result always come when you react with your bodily, verbally, mentally action to your feelings, when you have the view related to good and bad or the neutral, pleasant, unpleasant, or the neutral. So take time yourself, even 1 minute to spend your time every day to resonate with this and observe deeply, thoroughly observe the feelings and try to reach to the bottom of that feelings beyond the sensual level. And if you're able to go there one time, then you know the art, then you know the method, then you know something beyond this surface level of feeling. Once you have that experience in this human life, whatever the feelings you gain, sensation you gain, you always look beyond that sensation. So that is where your liberation, your transformation, your ultimate bliss of Nibbana, you can experience. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityu vajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavatantarayo sukhi digayuto bhavat. Ittavata cham sampadam punya sampadam. Sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idam me punya kammang asavakkaya vaham hotu. Sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Yes.